Is this my internet or is this Asana's internet?
It's hers, ma'am.
Oh, okay. I'm so glad. It's my worst nightmare for my internet to get erratic while I'm in the middle of something. I am
You're
so
all good,
glad to
ma'am.
be here today. I really appreciate this initiative, guys, for being bringing together people where we can talk about important issues such as mental health and psychology, and especially in the areas where we need to start a word around. And I wanted to talk about routines today because most of my life and most of the people that I've met, the thinking around routines is so warped because we think that having a routine is like living the same life every day or doing the same things on the same time every day or keeping account of every hour of your life. But routines are just a bunch of activities that you repeat regularly, not necessarily every day, but regularly. And in my experience, I think having a routine is a game changer. It is an absolute game changer when it comes to your mental health. Uh, be it students, be it professionals, be it your parents, be it at any age or stage in your life, a routine will just help you to do everything that is important to you, everything that you want to do, and be able to do all of those things and still leave space for the things that you want to add to your life. And they're just awesome. So this is a conversation I wanted to start in the mental health space because it's a basic thing that you can do and talk about, and it will take care of a lot of things. It will help you reduce stress, and these are things that I wanted to talk about today. So, uh, having a routine. So, first of all, are we doing? Can we do an interactive thing? Can I know how many people have ever tried to fit in a routine? Can I know? Can people raise hands or something? Damn. Let me see the responses. Just write yes if you've ever tried to fit. If you've ever tried a routine. Okay, I see a lot of responses, guys. This is amazing. Yeah, we fail very badly most of the times. And how many of us think that putting in having a routine is the same as having discipline? Write discipline if you think that that's true, or write yes. Yeah, yeah, right. We feel that having a routine means having a disciplined life. But guys, I would like to tell you that that is just not true. You do not need a lot of willpower to have a routine, to be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve in a day, and be able to, continue doing all of that for a long time. And it does feel like you have to put in a lot of effort to stick to a routine or a timetable every day. And timetable is such a bad word because we used it in school. But a routine is not like having a timetable. It is not like, putting in a lot of effort to stick to uh, a time every day. It in fact reduces your effort to take decisions every day and planning a good, satisfying day every day. You don't have to wake up in the morning and decide that and motivate yourself to exercise today, or read a book today, or food for yourself today. It's just comes automatically and it's on autopilot. And it's understandable. Even if we don't want a routine, sometimes we think that we do not want to, that they are daunting and overwhelming. We want to be free and we want to do whatever we want to be free to do however we want to spend this day, and I don't disagree with that. But there are two things that are very important there. One thing is that life gets really tough when there are a lot of things that we want to do, and there are a lot of things that take a lot of effort to be done. For example, brushing your teeth in the morning will not take a lot of effort, but motivating yourself to exercise every day will take a lot of effort. For someone who wants to read but is not a reader, it will take certain effort to read, right? And when it comes to motivating ourselves, to do these things every day. You know, exercise is something that you want to do every day, or meditation is something that you want to do every day, or reading is something that you want to do every day. But having to wake up every morning and to motivate yourself to do this every day is a daunting task. It's and most of the days, most of the weeks and months, we do not, we end up doing none of these things. And that is heartbreaking. I feel like for most of my life, my list looked like, you know, I want to read, I want to exercise, I want to eat healthy, I want to cook my own food, I want to meditate, do yoga, plan my day, write a to do list, I want to paint a little, I want to spend time with my family, I want to write something too, I want to chill with my friends. But no one with a 24-hour day can achieve these things every day, right? Right? Like, write a correct if you think that's right. I mean, we can't achieve all of these things in a day. If I want to do all of these things every day, it's impossible to do it. There was this one time that I used to, think 2 years ago. Uh, I read that it takes 21 days to inculcate a habit. So I thought, let me try one thing. I'll write everything that I want to do, and which includes all of these things that I just said, these 10, 20, 12 things. And I thought that what I'll do is I will do all of these things. I will make a timetable and I will do all of these things for 21 days so that after 21 days, I am in the habit of spending my day like that. So I named that concept my best day for 21 days. And I failed because I could not live my best day for 2 days. It's an epic failure to try to do everything that you want to do every day starting today. It it does not it's a recipe for disaster, and no one will be able to achieve whatever they want to achieve if they try to do everything that they want to do in a day. If you make a timetable and say, I'll wake up at 6 in the morning, I will read at 7 a.m. in the morning, I will exercise at 9, I will work from this to this time, and then I will write and read, etc., it will never work like that. And so I try to look what my life looked like at that time. uh, at that time, my life, this is 2 years ago, I was working at a bank, it's called Wells Fargo, and I was living in Bangalore. And I used to wake up, I used to have to decide, what do I want to do today. And most of the time I used to think, today I'm going to wake up and I'm going to work out. So I used to wake up by 11 a.m. because I used to sleep at 3 because I was Netflixing. 11 a.m. I used to wake up because my work used to start at 1 p.m. So I used to wake up at 11 a.m. And I used to think I'll work out for 1 hour and then I'll take a bath and I'll go to office. But I used to keep scrolling on my phone for half an hour. At 11:30, 11:45, I realized I'm so hungry that I can't work out on an empty stomach. So by 12, I used to decide, so I'm not working out because I'm really hungry. And so I would go to the kitchen, and because I'm so hungry, I used to fix something up for myself pretty quickly, which was most of the time not healthy because you can't make anything healthy quickly. And I used to eat a sandwich or something and take a bath and rush to office. I used to come back by 8 p.m. and I was mentally exhausted. So, of course, I did not exercise most of the days. I could not get myself to exercise most of the days. I, again, I changed and I put on some Netflix. After watching some Netflix, I used to think I'll read before I go to sleep, but then I would get so engaged in watching Netflix and then, get so tired. My eyes were so tired that I wanted to watch Netflix, but I did not want to read. So ended up watching Netflix 3 a.m. or talking to someone till 3 a.m. and then just, went to sleep. And this was a cycle. There were days that I could push myself really hard in the morning or in the evening and got myself to work out. But that was never more than 7 days a month, say. And a similar thing was happening with my reading and meditation and yoga, etc. And I think this is a story for a lot of us, including regardless of the age. I think students, professionals, um, people in their old age, I think everybody probably goes for the same thing when They wake up in the morning and they try to do a free flow of things, and they think that I will decide what I want to do today. I think that is just that does not work out in the long run for us to do everything that we want to do. It is draining. It mentally and physically, emotionally, it drains you because you're eventually you're not able to trust yourself to be able to do whatever you want to. You tell yourself every morning that you're going to make yourself breakfast and that you're going to work out, but you don't. So you're breaking your promises to yourself. And eventually that leads to bad self-esteem, right? Because you're not keeping promises to yourself. How do you know that if you promise yourself right now that I will study in the evening, that you will study in the evening, because you've been breaking the promises with yourself for so long that you can't trust yourself anymore. And so that eventually leads to a lot of exhaustion. Uh, and because, of course, you're eventually not taking any decisions, you're not doing anything for your health, mental or physical, your mental health and physical health are declining slowly. So how do routines actually help? So take my routine now, for example. Okay. And I'll tell you what the process of making that routine, how it sets you free, is beautiful because it's an experiment on yourself, and you can at yourself, come at it by yourself. And if this is something that you've done for yourself, by yourself, and you feel beautiful doing it every day. So this is what my routine looks like now. I sleep at 12 at night. I wake up at 7. I I grab a glass of water, I make my coffee, and then I grab my journal and my the book that I'm reading right now, and I walk to a place outside my house, as in not outside, just outside the gate where there's some sunlight. So I sit in some sunlight, and I write my 3 pages of my journal today. The things that are just flowing through my mind, I bring them down on my journal. The 3 pages, it takes 15 minutes, and then 15 minutes I meditate. After that, for 1.5 hours, I read because I like to start my day really slowly. I'm a lazy person in the morning. I like to think. I like to ponder over stuff. I like to sit. I'm not the kind of person who would just wake up and exercise or just do eat the frog in the morning. People say eat the frog in the morning, right? Do the toughest task in the morning. I realize I'm not that kind of person. I tried really hard to be, and I failed miserably, like most of us do when we're trying to make a routine. But I realized I can't do that. So I made something that I like to do, which was writing my journal, meditating, and reading my book for 1.5 hours. By that time, I've gathered some pace. My mind is working, it's thinking of new stuff. I am motivated and a little I'm more active. I want to do stuff now because there is coffee in my body and thoughts in my brain from the book that I've read, and I've meditated, and I'm in a good state of mind. So then I exercise for 30 to 45 minutes. By this time, it is 9:45, 10 a.m. So what I do is I go for a bath. Uh, oh, yes. And I exercise not every day. I exercise 4 days a week, and I do yoga 2 days a week. And these days earlier were not fixed. The 4 days that I work out were not fixed earlier because those days I was just seeing, what my body feels like today. Does my body want to work out today? If not, I used to do yoga. If I felt like, there's some energy in me, if I push myself a little bit, I'll be able to work out. I used to work out, but I decided I'll work out 4 days a week and do yoga 2 days a week, but I had not decided which days were those. After some time of doing this, I I realized that I understood which were those days that I was active on. So now I fixed those days. So Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Friday, and Saturday, I feel active and I want to work out. I realized after noticing myself for a long time. And on Mondays and Thursdays, I do yoga. And after that, when it's 10 a.m., I make my breakfast and I take a bath and I sit to work till 10:30. And after that time, when I'm done working, I work till 6:30, and then I make my dinner till 7. And then after 7, I'm free to chill with my family. I talk to my friends, I catch up with them, I talk to my boyfriend a little bit. And some days I write. If I'm feeling like writing, I write. Some days I paint. Some days, if I want to do a new course, I learn some new course. So there's a lot of time between 7 and 12 at night where, I can give myself a lot of time. And imagine this, from not being able to achieve anything any day, now because I've understood how my body reacts and when I want to do what, I am able to have a good sleep regime where I wake up at the same time and sleep at the same time every day. I'm able to read a book. I with my frequency, I read almost 24 books a year, and this is the minimum. And I meditate every day. I keep my body healthy because I am making my breakfast, making my own food, and I'm exercising, and I'm keeping my brain healthy. And and because I'm able to put all these things in a routine, I'm able to free some time for the more creative things that I want to do, where, I can put everything that I want to do on that day in that time. So if I want to feel like writing, I can do that. And if I want to chill with my friends or go out for a drink, I can do that. So the fact that the idea that a routine will bind you to a timetable is absolutely false, because a routine is actually setting you free. A routine tells you what to do without you thinking about what you have to do. And it sets a lot of your time free because you're not spending time planning, you're not exerting your willpower, motivating yourself. And because you've achieved everything you want to in certain time of the day without thinking about those things a lot, you are setting some time free for yourself completely to like just do nothing also. And that is so liberating. It is just a count it confused me in the beginning, when people used to say that a routine will not bind you, it will set you free. It actually does. And taking my example, I wanna tell you how it actually helps. That one, of course, we've realized that you feel so satisfied having done whatever you wanted to do without having to make a decision every day of, now waking up and not thinking that, do I want to exercise right now or do I want to read right now? I don't have to make that decision. I know when I wake up, I have to make my coffee, I have to grab my book, and I have to read. This is a decision that I don't have to make anymore. This is a decision that's made for me by me already. And that uh, eliminates my need to plan. It reduces my need to make decisions. And of course, it does not require a lot of willpower from me. Two, it gives me a whole lot of sense of control. I feel like I'm in control of my life because I am being able to achieve whatever I wanted to achieve in a day. And so, whenever things go wrong, uh, I know what to do next. And I know that I am in control of my body, of my health, of my mental health. I feel in absolute control, not in absolute control, but the things that I can control. There are a lot of things that are uncertain. So my brother got COVID in the initial time when people used to get really scared when people got COVID. Of course, even now, if it's severe, people get really scared, and it's uh, understandable to do feel like that. uh, he got COVID and we got unnecessarily really scared because his symptoms were not very, very scary, but he was getting a lot of fever and everything. I got really existential because I am very close to my brother. Very close is an understatement. It's a person that I cannot exist without. So, because I got really existential, I was not being able to function. My mind was all over the place. But because I had a routine, it dictated what I wanted to do in the day. So I went to sleep and I woke up and I told myself, bro, you don't have to think what's going on, just do what you do. And so this structure, this framework where I could wake up and I could read and I could exercise, it distracted me from all the thoughts that I was unnecessarily having, all the overthinking. And also, it was keeping me in control of my own life. And that was very, very liberating. Three, it boosts your self esteem like anything. because now that you can keep the promises to yourself, now that you've achieved for a month or two things that you wanted to, wanted to work out 3 days a week, you wanted to read a book 3 days a week, and you've been able to do that for 2 weeks. Now you know that you keep your promises to yourself, and that boosts your self-esteem. You're able to take new projects, you're able to do new courses, you're able to give yourself higher aims in life, aim and goal in life, because you know that if I'm able to achieve this goal, if I'm able to do this in life every day, if I'm able to achieve important things in my life every day, I will be able to do this. And so it's a huge boost in self-esteem. It constantly reinforces your belief in yourself. And of course, there's a very important and very basic concept of stress, where if you don't exercise enough, if you don't sleep enough, and you don't eat well enough, that this less movement, less sleep, and undernourishment act as stressors in themselves. So these things will act as stressors to your body, and your body will have lesser energy, and your body will allocate some energy to deal with these stressors, and it will have lesser energy to deal with other stresses that are coming into your life. For example, other negative thoughts that are coming into your life, difficult situations that are coming into your life. So you will not be able to deal with them in an optimum amount because these things are already stressing you out. So a routine will help you have good sleeping habits, eating habits, and good exercise habits, because and now these things will not act as stressors to you anymore. And so all of your energy will be intact to deal with the situations that you can't control. Now, if a new situation is arising, you will have more energy to deal with that. If there's a negative thought in your mind, you will be able to deal with this thought without feeling irritated or drained or exhausted. And so that's beautiful. And not to uh, I do not want to ignore this fact, because a lot of people think that routines kill creativity. Beethoven, Freud, Haruki Murakami, these are the people who have go on and on about how a routine will help boost creativity so much. They say that we are what we repeatedly do, because excellence then is not an act but a habit. And that's the most beautiful thing that I've heard from a creative person for a long time. I think Murakami wakes up in the morning and he writes for 5 to 6 hours, and then he goes on for a run. And he has been doing this for years in his life, and that has been able to keep up his creativity and new thoughts, and he's been able to write brilliant books by that. So when you are also done with the essentials of the day, it leaves you more energy to be creative and productive. And of course, it leaves you more time for self care and self awareness, where you can give more time to music, your family, your passion, and your skincare. So, of course, now we know that, what is a good routine. We know what a good routine does, but we can ask ourselves what is a good routine and how to build one. And if anyone tells you that this is the best routine and you can follow it, and you will be able to live a good life, do not believe that person, because a good routine for you will be completely different than another person. A CEO has his own routine, a therapist has his own routine, a teacher has her own routine, a student will have their own routine, and you as a person, the time that your body feels the best in doing something is completely different from you than another person. So it's really important that you come to your own routine by experimenting with yourself and understanding what you feel, how you feel, and how you understand. But of course, you can research, and I can also tell you there are a few things that are really good uh, elements of a good mental health routine are, sleeping on the same time and waking up on the same time, having water, because dehydration will cause irritability. Then sunlight is really important for good mental health. And of course, like we discussed, exercising and having good food. So sleep, exercise, and good food are extremely important for good mental health, because you don't need extra stressors to be stressing you out, because you need to preserve your energy. So how to build a good routine? We'll talk about it in steps. There are three main steps. Okay. One is, are you ready, guys? If you're ready for this, if you're ready to understand how to make your routine, just write ready. I can't see any messages. Awesome. I'm so ready. I'm so ready to tell you how to make a good routine. Okay, great. So the first step is talking to yourself. What do you have to talk to yourself about? Talk to yourself about what are the most important things that you want to do. Make a list of everything that's important for you to do every day or regularly. It's not necessary that you have to do yoga every day, but it's something that you want to do once in a week or once in a month. And so write it down, okay? List everything that's important to you. Uh, for example, it could be sleeping, reading, exercising, meditating. It could be any of the things that I mentioned earlier. Now, now that you've written everything down, pick three things, pick two things from the list. And in my example and my suggestion, I will pick exercise and reading apart from sleeping on time. Because sleeping on time is something that you cannot take out from a routine. Why is that? Why is sleeping on time and waking up on time is important? Or it's uh, it's something really, really essential? Is because a routine is like a puzzle board. Okay. And now, what do you do when you come to a puzzle board? The easiest way to start a puzzle is you find two to three pieces around each other, right? In the center, anywhere, just you find two to three pieces. The best way to begin a puzzle is to find one piece and then two to three pieces that attach them to the first piece. Now that you have a center anywhere, you can keep making the puzzle around it, right? So we want a center around which we can build. So in our routine, sleeping at the same time and waking up at the same time, and is that center of the puzzle, because we can keep attaching stuff to this block to make a routine, right? And so what this block will look like now, you exercise, you have to exercise, you have to read, and you have to sleep. Okay. So talk to yourself and look at your behavior in the past and try to make a guess about your body. Okay, try to make a guess. Are you an active person in the morning or are you a slow person in the morning? If you're an active person in the morning, exercise in the morning, after you wake up, and read before you sleep. Okay, this is the easiest example that I could begin with. So now you have a block. What is that block? Read at night before sleeping, sleep, and exercise after you wake up. You've attached your reading and exercising to sleeping. And now you have a block of three puzzles and you can start building your routine around it. Does that make sense till here? Say yes, write in the comments yes, if that makes sense. I will tell you how to build, how to be able to sleep and exercise and read. Okay, it does make sense. So now we have a block. And sleep was important because sleep is the easiest puzzle that you can fix. It's the easiest thing to fix because and it also it takes the least effort to fix the time of sleeping, and it gives you the highest satisfaction to fix the time of sleeping, because once you fix the time of your sleep, your body will start resting itself in that fixed time period, and you will feel more energy when you fix the time of your sleep schedule. So now you understood the most important things to you. As an example, we took reading and exercising. You made a block of three things that you did together, which was reading, sleeping, and exercising. And now we do this. Okay, we start doing this. Does not matter what time you decide to sleep initially. Just decide any time that comes to you. That is the most easiest to you right now. If you're a student and you sleep at 3 a.m. in the morning, just decide that you will sleep at 3 a.m. and do 7 hours of sleep. and wake up at what is 7 hours from 3 a.m., 10 a.m., right? So 3 to 10, you sleep, but you read from 2:30 to 3 a.m. and when you wake up at 10 a.m., you exercise for half an hour after you have your water and do your stuff. Half an hour later, you exercise, right? So this is the order that you have to maintain, and you have to try to do this. You have to try to do this every day for 2 to 3 weeks. Try for 3 weeks. And now, when you are doing this, two things are important. The important things are maintaining the order and tracking. Tracking is extremely essential. You have to make a calendar somewhere where you write the days and you write the dates and you write what time you slept, what time you woke up, and did you read and did you exercise. If you were able to do all of these three things, cross that date, right? And you try to understand which days were you able to behave how, right? So after 2 to 3 weeks, say a month, 3 weeks have passed when you try to do this thing, you've maintained the order and you've tracked. 1 month will have passed. Okay. And now two things will have happened. One, you will not you will not be able to uh, do do this. And remember, when you try to exercise or read, try to keep a simple goal. Don't say don't try to tell if you wanna do it every day. Definitely try to do it every day, but try to tell yourself that I will try to do it 5 days a week, not 7 days a week. And so see 1 month later which were the days that you were able to do this, what was the time that you were able to sleep at, what was the time that you were able to wake up at. And if you were not able to achieve, say reading, okay, you were not able to read at 2 from 2:30 to 3, and you were not able to exercise from 10 to 11 in the morning, you were too tired to do it, you have to try to change the timing of this whole block. Maybe you're too tired to read at night, and you're too exhausted in the morning, or too hungry in the morning to be able to exercise. So now change this the time of this entire block. Okay. Now don't sleep at 3. Try to make yourself sleep at 2 or 1:30. Now this will be easier for you to do, definitely easier for you to do, because you've been trying to maintain this order, at least trying to maintain this order for the past 4 weeks. And your mind will now have become accustomed to this order in your mind, that I have to read when I sleep and I have to exercise when I wake up. Even when you were able to do it just 2 days a week, your mind will have changed certain uh, neural connections in your mind to understand that I have to read before I sleep and exercise when I wake up. And so it will start making those changes inside your head, right? So after a month, you have tracked what is that time that you were what were the days that you were able to exercise, what were the days that you were able to read, and what was the time that you were able to sleep at. Continue this tracking. Continue this tracking, you will come at a conclusion that I am mostly lazy on Mondays, so I cannot exercise on Mondays. If I push myself too hard, I can work out on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but Thursdays I just want to take a break. And this your calendar will tell you. It will become a pattern 1 month or 2 months later, when you've decided that you're doing this. Just these, and the important thing is just these three activities, because adding 5 things in your routine will not work, but adding 3 things in routine is not that effort taking. And because you're doing it in a block, it will be exciting for you to do. And tracking will also be exciting for you to do, because you're finding something out, something new about yourself, and you're learning something new about yourself. You're being aware of your body and what it's telling you, and you will be able to talk to yourself really nicely. So it'll be a good experiment. So after 6 weeks or so, or 2 months, you will be able to see on your calendar which days were you able to exercise, which days were you able to read, and which time were you able to sleep. Now that you've actually come at a place where you decided what you had to do, you talked to yourself and you tried to do it. Now you've come to a point where you know about yourself. And because now you know about yourself, fix this routine and make the goal sustainable. So now don't tell yourself, I have to work out every day. Tell yourself, I have to work out 4 days a week. I have to read 4 days a week. And I have to sleep between 1 to 2, right? And you know that you will be able to do these things because you were able to do this for the past 2 months, because you were able to work out 3 to 4 days every week for the past 1 week. And so you will have come to a routine which you had made for yourself, by yourself. You had learned about yourself, and this will help extremely because now you've successfully created a block of reading, sleeping, and exercising, and you can keep adding more things to this routine whenever you want to. So you can tell yourself that I wake up and I exercise, but I don't want to exercise first thing in the morning. But I have a fixed block. So what I can do is I can meditate 15 minutes before I exercise, or I can meditate 15 minutes after I exercise. Or you can tell yourself that I am reading before I sleep. Before I sleep, so what I'll do is I have not been able to connect with my family for a long time. So I will connect with my family half an hour before I read. So if you read at 1 a.m. At night, you can connect with your family at 12:30, or connect with your brother at 12:30 or sister at 12:30 till 1 a.m. So this is a block that you can keep building around and make a good routine for yourself. And so these were the basics. I just want to remind you of the three things that you had to do. One was talking to yourself, coming at everything that was important to you. Two was starting, maintaining that order, and tracking. So talk to yourself, maintain an order and track, and a month later, fix the routine and learn what you've tracked and fix the routine. So talk to yourself, order, track, and then fix. And this will help you build a beautiful routine and something that will help you for a long time. Always try help you reinvent yourself, learn something new about yourself, and leave time for you for things that are more important to you, or things that you want to learn or do something with. And I think that's where I will conclude today's session. It was great talking to you all. Just let me know if you have any questions for me.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. That was very insightful. We will take up a few questions since we are running short of time.
Sure.
Okay. So one of the question is, what techniques or routines do you suggest so that we can maintain a healthy boundaries with our family and friends without hurting them?
So the routines that I just said are the ones that are the easiest to do. If you are a lazy person in the morning like me, you can wake up in the morning, and because you're a lazy person and you do not want to work a lot, you can talk to your families in the morning, right? Talking to your family does not yeah,
Mm-hmm.
will not take a lot of effort. It's not like working or exercising, and you can use the time in the afternoons or the evenings that you are more active to finish your work or stuff like that. So if you're a little exhausted physically, when you're physically not very active, use that time to talk to people, to do meetings, to reply to texts. And so if the question is about families, if you're lazy in the mornings, talk to your family in the mornings. If you are lazy at night or exhausted in the night, use that time to just lie down in your bed and talk to your families.
All right.